right, thank you so much. I've heard of speakers that need no introduction. I just heard an introduction that needs no speaker. I also want to single out recognize Mr. George Pugh, the hardest, best teacher I ever had. He was at the LSU Law School. Very honored that you're here, Mr. Pugh. And but thank you for mentioning my family heritage at LSU, but we got some on deck. My grandniece, Gracie, who's a rising senior at St. Joe's Academy, is going to be part of LSU class 2020. And my daughter, Emerson, who is a rising senior at Episcopal High in Alexandria, Virginia, who's watching the live stream of this, and her daddy is hoping that she chooses to be part of the LSU class of 2020, but we'll have to see which way that goes. So it's a big, huge honor. I want to start and recognize, we have Victoria Catherine Ward here. Victoria, where are you? Would you stand up, Victoria? Victoria is distinguished in that it is graduation day and she has a 4.0. You know, on my graduation day at LSU, I had a 4.0 and no one clapped with me. Maybe because it was my blood alcohol level, but I also want to single out my life partner, my wife, Mary Madeline, who's here today. And the truth of the matter is that you're as lucky to find someone to share your life with as I was. I wish you all the best, and I hope that happens to you. And my wife has only asked for one thing, and the only thing that I've ever given her, and that is her way. Well, I've done any number of these, and there's kind of two ways we can go today. And the one way we can go is I can give you the usual pap that fills the May air on every campus all over the United States about the world is your oyster, so don't put too much horseradish in your oyster sauce. Or I can go another way. I can tell you what I think is the truth about what's happening to our university and about your future, and do it with some videos and punch it up and be serious and have a little fun along the way. So what do y'all say, option one or option two? Oh, I didn't expect that, my word. I do declare, I don't know what I'll do. The plain truth is that our university is in crisis. And to deny that is to deny reality. Now, I know there are people that say that commission administration writes op-eds and says, oh no, everything is fine, we're going to work this out. And the board says, no, it's good because we can supplant this with better purchasing power, we can do that. There's two different views. It kind of reminds me of the greatest movie ever made about higher education, Animal House. And a guy you all know, Kevin Bacon, who represents the administration and the board and the people of the LSU community are represented by the people in this. Let's go and show this clip.
Remain calm. All is well. All is well. Remain.
That's us. We're not calm. And that's you. That's what's going on at our university. You know, my roots go back here so far, and a lot of you are journalism majors. Some of you want to go into broadcast journalism. This is the floodplain, right? 100 yards from here is the Prairie Terrace. Right up to Prairie Terrace, when I was the first of my 4 sophomore years here at LSU, this is what I saw on a bracketed television, the most famous moment in broadcast journalism history.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago. Vice President Lyndon Johnson has left the hospital
So there it is. We're all part of it. We all have history in our lives. Thoreau once observed that the truth requires two people, one to speak it and one to hear it. Well, you kind of stuck here, so you don't have much choice. So I guess it's my duty to speak the truth. All is not well. And when they write the history of this university, and by the way, they're doing it with a Parkman Prize historian by the name of Paul Hoffman, they're going to record these years of 2007 to 2014 as not great years. And I can tell you this about history. History is relentless. History seeks the truth. It seeks it as relentlessly as the river seeks the Gulf. He can no more escape history than a raindrop or a snowflake that falls in a river in Minnesota can escape ending up in the Gulf. It pursues it. It's going to be there. It's all going to happen. And anytime you have something like this happen, you have people that go along with it. You have a board that acquiesces in this. And there's somebody else that went along with this for too long, and it's yours truly. I moved to Louisiana, and they said, we all got to get along. We're going to work together. And don't say anything because you're the chairman of the Super Bowl, and we need the Super Bowl money. And don't say anything because the flagship coalition, you know that, Cyril Vetter, is going to do this. And somebody else is going to do that. And every year, they did more damage. And, you know, I hear politicians and everybody today talks about the Judeo-Christian tradition. Well, I live a block from the Jewish temple and a block from a Jesuit university. I was educated by the Sisters of St. Joseph and the Brothers of the Sacred Heart. And I know something about the Judeo-Christian tradition. You know what the biggest day on the Jewish calendar is? Not celebrating some victory at Masada or the Ten Commandments. It's the Day of Atonement. The last request that the Christian Jesus made on the cross was not to strike all the gay people dead, was a request for forgiveness. And I ask your forgiveness for not speaking out sooner, because this has gone on too long. Gone on too long. And I went along with it for too long. But you know, best time to plant an oak tree was 25 years ago. Second best time is right now. Second best time is right now. But we have some heroes on our side. And I want to point them out. First of all, our president, F. King Alexander, has been magnificent in this struggle. He has spoken the truth. And my admiration goes out to King. The second, and I want all of them on the staff to stand up, our daily reveille has covered itself in glory during this crisis. They have spoke the truth and have covered that. So I want all the graduating seniors who are on the daily reveille staff to stand up. Give them a round of applause. And I want to also thank Professor Bob Mann, who's been speaking the truth about this for a long time and doing so courageously and helped me so much with this speech. Bob, would you stand up? Named by the student. Now there's a debate. There's a debate going on. And this is the parameters of that debate. On one side, you have Bobby Jindal and a man named Grover Norquist. Grover Norquist is a Washington lobbyist who reviews every piece of fiscal legislation that affects this university in any way and approves it and decides what is vetoed is not. That's a fact. Trust me. And they say that education is a commodity. You can commoditize it, you can charge for it, you can raise tuition. It's just another thing out there. It's a barrel of oil, it's an ounce of gold, it's a stock, it's anything. On the other side of history lies Thomas Jefferson, who was the founder of the first public university in the United States, who insisted on his tombstone They did not record that he was the third president of the University of Virginia, but was the founder, but the first third president of the United States, but was the founder of the University of Virginia. John Adams, who may have been, he was so conservative, he'd make Ronald Reagan look like Franklin Roosevelt. He was conservative to the core, but the one thing he agreed with Jefferson, and it was a bitter fight they had in that election in 1800, the one thing he agreed, he wanted a public institution on every square mile because they wanted everybody to have access to public higher education. And the father of all public higher education in the United States is a minor historical figure by the name of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln in 1862, and the country had a few more problems than soft oil prices, signed something called the Morrill Land Grant Act, of which we're sitting on, which played a significant role in the history of this university. So I can tell you that in this historical struggle, I'm seeking my guidance and my inspiration from Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and Abraham Lincoln. There's a classic book in American history by a land-grant educated historian of the first rank by the name of Frederick Jackson Turner, who proclaimed that the frontier was the very definition of American life. It is the thing that made our character as a nation, starting with Lewis and Clark. And Turner said the next great frontier would be state universities. To deny this university and to deny its mission is to deny the essence of the historical nature of the American frontier. And I'm not going to do that. And I don't want you to. You know, we don't have a Mississippi State. We don't have an Auburn. We don't have an A&M. We don't have a Clemson. There's no other university that is indispensable to the people of the state as LSU is. It's absolutely essential. There's 1,700 LSU graduates that hold the title of president, owner, or founder. Nearly 1,000 live in Louisiana. These are real job creators. The number of lawyers, doctors, accountants, engineers, the people who make the very fabric of this state that are so important and so critical, the people that recognize, the first people that recognized what was happening to our coastline. First person was an LSU engineer by the name of Woody Gagliano. You know that Clancy still lives in New Orleans. You know that the first people after the tragic events of 2005, the great engineering failure that spoke the truth and said this was an engineering failure, this was not an act of God, were LSU engineers and scientists. We are dependent on this university, and we are dependent on the public support of this university. And we're going to fight to maintain that and keep that and make LSU's case. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, and I'm going to address that. You're saying, oh, this is Carville. It's the same red and blue thing we always have in this country. He just doesn't like it because Jindal's a Republican, and it's all politicized. This is not red and blue. This is not. This is purple and gold. This is purple and gold. You're going to see a check, undated and made out for $5,000. Not going to give it to my wife because she'll make it out to Adler's. No. That check, the next governor of the state of Louisiana, regardless of political party, if that governor supports and passes a constitutional amendment guaranteeing Louisiana State University funding at the SEC public average, I'm putting that money to retire that person's debt. I don't care what political party he is. I don't care what party he is. I want this university to be restored to the way that we all want it. If it takes a Republican, an independent, or Democrat to do that, I don't care. I've had a remarkable life in politics. I've been to the mountaintop. I've been to the summit. I've seen the valley. And this place is my passion. You know, and we have to fight with what we have. I think in my own way I knew, and that my guy was to write op-ed pieces about higher ed. The one time Governor of Louisiana once said of the Attorney General of Louisiana, if you want to hide anything from Jack, stick it in a law book. You know, you want to hide anything, put it in an op-ed, if you will. You know, I want to talk about you guys, because this is your day. And really the last thing that you should want or needed was for some old political guy to stand up and rant and rave about what's going on in the state. I did it because I thought it was necessary. But I understand that there are some people, I hope very few, that are of the attitude that this is not my problem. We're the last class crossing this burning bridge. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to Houston. I'm going to New Orleans. I'm going to Shreveport. I'm going to staying in Baton Rouge and got a job. But whatever. I'm going to graduate school. I'm going to law school. Not my problem. Let's return to Animal House and see what I think about that philosophy.
Mr. Dorfman.
Hello.
0.2. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
That's about what I think about it. That's about what I think about it. And I think you need a cause. We need a toughness. We need to stand up. You need to stand up. You need to stand up. And I'll give you an example. And I love movie clips, and I use them in my class. And I'm going to show you this clip. And we need to be Michael Corleone to Bobby Jindal and Grover Norquist's Senator Gary. Watch this clip.
Now, the price for the license is less than $20,000, am I right?
That's right.
Now, why would I ever consider paying more than that?
Because I intend to squeeze you. I don't like your kind of people.
Senator, we're both part of the same hypocrisy. But never think it applies to my family.
All right. All right. Some people have to play little games. You play yours. So let's just say that you'll pay me because it's in your interest to pay me. But I want you answering the money by noon tomorrow. And one more thing. Don't you contact me again, ever. From now on, you deal with Turnbull. Open that door, son.
Senator, you can have my answer now if you like. My offer is this. Nothing. Not even the fee for the gaming license, which I would appreciate if you would put up personally.
That's our offer. Nothing. And I appreciate if you return some of the money that you took away from us. That's the example that we need to have. LSU needs to hang tough. We need to make our case. We need to talk about how we're indispensable. Now, if you're like me when I was in school and they'd play the alma mater, and remember that one where you sort of go, Stately Oaks and Broad Magnolias, we'll play it at 10. But there's one word in there that I want you to focus on, and I never want you to forget this word for the rest of your life. I want you to remember it every time that you hear that alma mater. And that word is molders. Molders of mankind. There are two kinds of people. There are the molded and there are the molders. You've chosen to be in journalism, in public relations, communications. I want you to be molders. I want you to shape things. I want you to be part of something. That's what I really want for you. I don't want, yes, you can choose to be a molded person. You can choose to give your destiny, your fate to other people, or you can be part of doing that. I never want you to ever listen to that alma mater and hear that word, molders, without thinking about that, without thinking that you want to be an active participant in life and an active participant for what goes on. And you're not going to ever be that by not living up and owning up to the truth. And I know what some of you are thinking. I'm going to be sitting in a job interview. I'm going to be somewhere, and somebody's going to look across a desk and say, you know, I've been hearing about all this stuff at LSU. How does that have any effect on your education? And this is what I want you to do. I want you to look them in the eye and say, you know, I was lucky. I went to the Manship school, and our professors, they told us about this, and they said this is a problem. But they were good. And we were able to work around the problem. We were able to work through the problem. We dealt with it. And if you hire me, that's the skill that I bring to this. Not to deny that problems exist, but when they have one, to work around it, to deal with it. And it also taught me, sir, a valuable lesson that not a lot of people get from the university, and that is that there's something bigger than myself. And I want to feel that way about the way I work, about the place I work. I want to have a feeling just like I feel about LSU, that it's more important than I am, that I'm part of something larger. Because you don't know the deal. They didn't tell you. They didn't tell me. They bring you here 4 years ago. In my case, it was substantially longer. And they let you off. Your parents do. And then they come back, and you graduate. You have a good time tonight, and you leave. But the deal is, you bring all of your body and all of your heart here. And when you leave, you get to take all of your body with you, but you only get 3/4 of your heart. The other quarter stays here, and it's going to draw you back. It's going to draw you back. It's going to give you passion. It's going to give you purpose in life. And you're going to think about all the people in the state that need doctors, that need accountants, that need engineers, that need teachers, that need to create businesses, and you're going to think about how indispensable LSU is, that you're going to need people that speak the truth, as Woody Gagliano did. We're going to need that. And I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. I know I can count on you. You know, in 2060, will be the bicentennial of this university, 200 years. I know what you're saying. That's a long time. I'm graduating. What are you talking? I was talking about 2060. My God. On history's clock, not much. There was more time between the time that I was a sophomore and today, when I saw Walter Cronkite announce the death of my president, than there is between now and 2060. And I want you to come back to this campus. And I want them to say that in 2015, some graduates and some people who loved the university walked out and symbolically drew a line in the rich alluvial soil of the state they love and refused to write the last chapter of a declining university, but wrote the first chapter of the resurgent, wonderful center of learning we have today. That's what I want. That's what we're going to be able to do. It's our university. It's not theirs. It's the legacy that's built here. It was forged in the crucible of adversity. It was founded in 1860. It was disrupted by the Civil War that went through every crisis it can. I want you to be molders. I want you to take this moment. I want you to learn from it. And I never, ever want you to forget the last words of our alma mater. Forever, 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 LSU. Thank you.
James, thank you. You said this would not be your ordinary graduation speech, and you were right. Thank you, and a present from us. Thank you very much.
You know, I gotta do something, and this has been so much of your day, and we got it teed up here. I want the graduates to sit down, and I would like for everybody else to stand up. I have a song that I want us to all sing to these graduates, particularly you parents. It's a song that my wife, at night when my children were babies, it was the last thing I'd hear, her singing to my children when they fell asleep, and sung and written in a way that only a Louisianan can do it. So everybody stand up, graduates sit down. And let's see if we remember this song. This is for you, graduates. Go ahead.